Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Aiman. I'm your chef helper for this recipe. Alright, without further ado, let me run you through some tips for the recipe. Tips number 1. A delicious donut depends on how fluffy your dough is. To get a fluffy donut, make sure the salt is not mixed together with the yeast, because the salt and yeast combination is to cat and dog. If you mix them together, it will ruin the texture as the salt will kill the yeast. Tips number 2. To avoid the dough from sticky to the donut molder, sprinkle some flour onto the donut molder. Tips number 3. Don't throw away the balanced dough or mini donut because we can always mix them together again and shape them. Tips number 4. When frying the donut, don't flip them too frequent. You only have to flip them once. When the donut started to brown, that will be your cue to flip them over. After both sides have turned brown, you can lift them up from the oil and let them go for a while on the rack before serving. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum and thank you for watching.
Kai Xin and I am your little chef helper for this recipe. Alright, without further ado, let me run you through some tips for this recipe. Tips number 1. If you do not have any melted butter in hand, you can always replace it with corn oil. Tips number 2. When putting blueberry fillings into the center of the muffin cups, make sure you do not put too many blueberry fillings to ensure a more balanced taste. Tips number 3. When filling out the muffin cups, make sure you only fill it out to 3/4 of the cup to prevent the muffins from overflow. That's all from me. Thank you for watching.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Anas and I'm your chef helper for this recipe. Alright, without further ado, let me run you through some tips on this recipe. Okay, let's start with the first tip. Tips number 1. A delicious egg tart depends a lot on the thickness of tart shells. When you are making the tart shells, make sure it is not too thick or thin. It should be around 30mm thick. Tips number 2. Sometimes you might have some visible yellow or white patches that does not dissolve completely into the tart filling. Don't worry, they do not affect the overall taste of the tart. You can add some yellow food coloring to get a more beautiful looking egg tart filling. Before you shape the eggshells, make sure to spray some canola spray or rub some butter onto the eggshells mold, so that the egg tarts can be removed easily from the mold after baking. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum and thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Anas and I'm your chef helper for this recipe. Alright, without further ado, let me run you through some tips on this recipe. Okay, let's start with the first tip. Tips number 1. Combine wet ingredients and beat until it becomes light and fluffy. Tips number 2. When using the mixer, always start with slow speed and later fast speed to prevent the ingredients from spilling out. Tip number 3. When using plastic piping bag, make sure you use 2 layers of piping bag for this recipe, or else the plastic piping bag might break while you are piping out the cookie dough. You wouldn't want to make a mess, right? Tips number 4. When mixing the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, make sure you put in by few batches. Do not put all the dry ingredients in at once to ensure a more even mixture. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum and thank you for watching.
recipe. Alright, without further ado, let me run you through some tips on this recipe. Let's start with the first tip. Before baking the cake, make sure you do not skip the corn oil. The corn oil is essential for a shinier and more delicious looking cake. However, when mixing the oil into the batter, make sure you stick in just one direction and do not over mix it, or else you will end up with an unriser cake. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum and thank you for watching. Siti Umaira and I'm your chef helper for this recipe. Alright, without further ado, let me run you through some tips on this recipe. Let's start with the first tip. Do not put too many whipping cream for each cake layer to maintain the balance of the taste. Tips number 2. Make sure the kitchen temperature is not too high because it will cause the whipping cream to melt and it will make it more difficult to decorate the cake. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum. Thank you for watching.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Aiman. I'm your chef helper for this recipe. Alright, without further ado, let me run you through some tips on the recipe. Tips number 1. As we all know, curry puff skin is very easy to make. However, curry puff skins can sometimes be a little tricky to make. If you're not careful enough, you might end up with a very hard curry puff skin. Make sure you don't put in too many flour and do not over knead the dough. Tip number 2. If you do not know how to fold and seal the curry puff skin, you can use curry puff mold to help you to make some pretty uniform curry puff. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum and thank you for watching.